We're back, Jack.
We're back.
It's the 2nd of January.
It's probably my second favourite day in January so far.
Definitely.
It's up there.
And I'm glad to be here. We don't get on all the time.
Not all the time.
But I'm glad to be here. I've got something for you. Okay?
Hit me.
Sit comfortably. I'm gonna hit you with something from our friend Epictetus. What is the fruit of these teachings? Only the most beautiful and proper harvest of the truly educated tranquility, fearlessness and freedom. We should not trust the masses who say only the free can be educated, but rather the lovers of wisdom who say that only the educated are free.
Wow.
You like that?
You should do movie trailers for a living.
I've got a bit of a voice, haven't I?
Yeah, it's cool. You know what I'm going to throw out to start? I think so many people think that education stops when you leave school or college or university. It's like, it stops. That's it. I've done all my learning. Cool. I'm just going to listen to podcasts that talk about dream mills and death row. You know, that kind of stuff. But actually, like, the learning never stops. And I think that so many people forget that let's face it, right? Be honest with me now, Zach Thompson. You're on camera, so you've got to be honest.
Okay.
When you were a young man, let's say 18, you off to university, did you dream of working in sales?
No.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to admit that as the godfather of modern sales.
But you ended up there.
I
right?
did.
Okay, so most salespeople that may be listening to this didn't plan on working in sales, but they ended up there. But I think we forget that sales is a skill, and everybody works in sales. Teachers, lawyers, doctors, therapists, parents, everybody works in sales. So this skill set that you can learn is like amazing. So when you think of education being freedom, what do you think about?
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because when I think of education and I think of self-improvement and getting better, there's that saying, isn't there? There's no self-improvement without self-awareness. And that's something that I always think of. And moments in my life where I've got better at sales, the ugly mirror came up. And it was like, oh, you're actually a bit crap at that bit. That question there always stumps you. That objection there always stumps you. That question that you ask there, every time you ask it, the person on the other end, they don't really know what you mean. And suddenly what you can do is look at your entire sales skill set, almost like top trumps cards.
Yeah.
Which are the strongest ones, which are the weakest ones, and everything can be leveled up. And actually, if you fall in love with that as a process of how can I get gradually better at each individual bit, sales then doesn't become this job where, right, I fell into it after university and let's see what happens in 4 years. I'll get a few paychecks. I might go backpacking around Thailand. It becomes something totally different. It becomes, how do I get better at communication gradually? How do I ask people a question that actually hits home? How do I ask them the uncomfortable question that they don't want to be asked? How can I be in a position where any objection that you ask me, I know exactly how to deal with it and what you're really saying? Does that make sense?
So much sense. And that was lovely. The way you laid that out, that was like a banana split. If I may, can I put the cherry on top of that and add something else?
Please, no, please do.
So you talk about self-development without...
Easy for you to say.
Easy for me to say. There's no self-improvement without self-development. There is a third one that I would like to add.
Please.
And that is self-compassion. So I think so many people go into this education and developing themselves better, but they don't have that compassion to themselves. So, yeah, this is a weak spot, but, like, don't beat yourself up about it. Yeah, that is a weak spot, but, like, I'm acknowledging it. So, okay, I've acknowledged that. How do I now get better? So I think that's really, really important to not give yourself a hard time when you're working towards this level of mastery. And there are so many... I've been guilty of this in the past, but I've definitely been guilty of, like, trying to ram down as many books down my throat as possible. So sales books and stuff like that. Actually, rereading the same book, like, every year, just listening to some of our favorite sales books, we get so much from, because there's always something that you miss, and then you can be like, right, I'm going to pick that one skill set, or I'm going to focus on that. And this week on the phones, all I'm going to do is focus on mirroring or labeling or asking difficult questions. So in terms of, if somebody's there, they're like, right, it's the start of the year, I got an Amazon gift voucher off my uncle, I'm going to go and spend it on books to get me better at sales. What ones are you throwing at them?
I'm thinking Gap Selling by Keenan.
Love that.
I'm thinking Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar.
Yeah.
David H. Sandler.
I believe so.
And Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Those three are good starting points. But what I would say to people is someone like a Chris Voss type. He's got a lot of stories, right? He's got this illustrious career. He's FBI hostage negotiator. You can read the book. It's really actionable and short. But then if I go on podcasts and I type in Chris Voss and I suddenly start stumbling on people who've interviewed him, well, then I learn that kind of deeper knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm getting there's a YouTube video there as well. I might watch that as well. So I always find it with any kind of sales methodology, sales book that I read, like you're saying, I can read it a few times. Then I can also watch an interview, and suddenly it becomes very embedded in the learning. So that way I'm not just learning it in its practical application, its written application. I'm kind of teaching my brain from all different angles.
I love it. And I also think that actually we're big fans of this, that when we decided to get better at sales, it was all self-work. And you can pay people, and there's that sunk cost fallacy and like the accountability, and I'm all for that. But actually, like, just do the groundwork yourself. Like, get yourself to 90%, and then maybe you can bring somebody in to get you that extra 10%. But a lot of work can be done for yourself.
Beautiful.
I've been Jack Frimston.
I've been Zach Thompson.
Remember, you will die.
Gas Mark 6.